music is annoying, huh? It's just the same. It's just the same loop. The whole. Oh, okay, it's got a little bit of progression there. Okay. Hello, guys. Good evening. Yes, it's Texas Runoff Day. Big day here. How's everyone doing? Hope we're doing good. Hold on, I gotta pop this out. I get my chat box out there. Gotta get my chat box out here. That music is annoying, huh? Anyways. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna hang out, watch Kornatchki Cam together. Damn, that sucks. This is like way too bright. I don't need to record that. Let's stop the recording. Good. All right. And its lighting doesn't look that good, huh? Show thumbnails. Here we go. That's copied there. Good to go. Okay. Well, if I knew that music was just going to be a loop like that, I would have waited a few more minutes before starting. But it's fine. How's everyone doing? Oh, that's right. There's no notifications. There's no notifications. So I gotta do this myself. Let's see. Let's post that there. There we go. All right, 8 people here. Did you guys get notifications? Let's see. Hey, Theo fellas, good to see you. I hopped on here to ask if you were going live. This is going to be awesome. Yep, I'm live. Hello. Yeah, the polls close in 1 minute. I should have started at the top of the hour. It would have been perfect. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not Paxton. It's not Paxton, Angela. It's Chip Roy versus Middleton. And by the way, I've been hearing lots of bad stuff about Chip Roy compared to Middleton. I heard Middleton's way better for oil. So a lot of the oil lobbies there, a lot of the oil industries behind Middleton. Chip Roy's apparently voted against a lot of like oil stuff, according to what the heck is this? There you go. According to Becky. Anyways, how's everyone doing? Give me 1 second. I'm almost done spamming. I gotta let people know we're here. Okay, so we got that one. Oh, there's the loop again. Thank you very much.
Well, the song says the eyes of Texas are upon you tonight, though. It's the eyes of the country that are on Texas. Nearly 3 months after the first round, it is here, the runoff. Senator John Cornyn, first elected in 2002, trying to hang on against his challenger, the state attorney general Ken Paxton, who was endorsed in the final days of this runoff campaign by President Donald Trump. Will that endorsement end up being the decisive factor? Polls have now closed in just about all of Texas. Take a look at this map. In fact, we're getting results. I'm going to hit fast forward and get right over to the set. Let's go.
Hey, results. We have results coming in.
Joining us. Okay, folks, we've already got some right from the Metroplex area here. Holy cow, we are off and running. Denton County, this is a big one. Fast growing, just north of Dallas and Fort Worth here. You see 62% of the vote. What does that mean? This is the early vote that was cast here. Holy cow, that is a good number if you're Ken Paxton. A 25-point advantage for Paxton in Denton here. That's
I forgot about the Paxton runoff.
Let me go right back to Denton because it's much more significant. This is massively significant, and I'll tell you why. In the preliminary, okay, this was a John Cornyn County. John Cornyn won Denton with 51% of the vote. Excuse me, let me back this up here. I thought that was just
Chip Roy and Middleton.
In a two-way, if you remember, there were multiple candidates in the preliminary. It was Cornyn, it was Paxton, it was Congressman Wesley Hunt, there were a few others. If you just took the Cornyn and Paxton vote in the preliminary, okay, it made it a two-way race. Cornyn won a little bit. Cornyn won 51% of the two-way vote. Paxton won 49% of it, okay? Denton County was a Cornyn county in the preliminary. And again, this is a very big county as these go in Texas. And here's Ken Paxton leading by 25 points. And the second significant thing about this, massively significant thing about this is the early vote. The early vote was more Cornyn favorable in the preliminary. It was on the election day vote.
Wow.
The folks who went out and voted in person on the day of, that's where Paxton had his advantage in the preliminary. So this is supposed to be Cornyn's best batch in a county, a giant county, that he won in the preliminary. And he's getting absolutely blown out in it. We're getting some more numbers. Let's take a look here. This is small, okay? This is geographically small and population small. But again, Rockwall County, you're getting, you're outside of Dallas here. You're into an area of fast growth here. And again, I just want to call up for you. Well, actually, we just got Tarrant County. Okay, Tarrant County. This is where Fort Worth is, immediately next door. Again, when you see that much come in, that means all the early vote, the stuff that was cast days before Election Day, they can count that all, report that all out at once. Ken Paxton's getting 59% of the vote in the early vote. How did this county go in the preliminary? This was a Cornyn county. This was one of Cornyn's best counties, best big counties in the state of Texas.
Wow, he's done.
In the preliminary. And he's getting blown out. And again, as I said, the early vote is supposed to be the Cornyn-friendly vote. So what's going to happen here in Tarrant County and these other counties, they are now going to start counting up the vote that was cast today. In the preliminary, that was a more Paxton-friendly vote. So if that, holds here, if past his prologue, then this number will get better for Paxton. So immediately, if you're Cornyn, you've fallen behind big statewide. Look at that. 7% of the vote has come in. Paxton with a more than 20-point advantage over Cornyn. And again, these are some big population areas that we've seen. We've seen Denton, we've seen Tarrant, okay, a little bit from Rockwall here. Look, we're getting down now. In Jefferson County, this is where the city of Beaumont, Texas is, okay, on the Gulf here, getting by the Gulf here. Again, Paxton, this was a Cornyn county. Again, this was one of the best. I just said Tarrant was one of the best Cornyn counties in the preliminary. This county was even better, okay, for Cornyn. Cornyn beat Paxton here solidly in the preliminary. But again, looking at the early vote right here, Paxton's absolutely trouncing him. So right away, this thing we just got quite a bit of clarity here immediately. I mean, how's that for record time? In about 2 minutes, this thing just clarified in a massive way. Now we're going to start to watch these fill in. A lot of what you're seeing here, there's 254 counties in the state. A lot of these are smaller, although Kendall County, again, this is fast growing right outside San Antonio here. And again, you see Paxton. Now Paxton had done well here in the preliminary. Paxton had beaten Cornyn by a small amount here in the preliminary. And again, that's just exploded. Wow. 64-36, the early vote. And again, supposed to be the Cornyn-friendly vote.
Done.
We're seeing this everywhere. We're seeing Williamson County. Look at this.
Hello,
oh, my
Chevy,
goodness. If you are Paxton, you are joyous with what you're seeing right now. If you're Cornyn, you are not. Williamson County, again, this was one of Cornyn's, we've seen 3 of Cornyn's best from the preliminary, and he's getting clobbered in the early vote. Okay? Jefferson, Tarrant, Williamson. These were about as good as it got for John Cornyn in the preliminary, getting absolutely clobbered. 10% of the vote is now in. Let me just let this fill in as I speak here, because again, Dallas County, you see the color changed. Cornyn did, even this, if you're Cornyn's dreadful news. Dallas County was his landslide county. It's one of the 10 biggest counties, one of the 5 biggest counties, that Republican vote-producing counties in Texas. Cornyn, this was pretty much a landslide for Cornyn over Paxton in the preliminary. And you can see in the early vote, he is eking out Cornyn is a lead here of 1.5 points. And again, we say the early vote is the Cornyn-friendly vote. It certainly was in the preliminary. And if that's the case again, then this advantage can evaporate.
You know what's interesting? Diamond G says should have passed the Save America Act, Thune. I didn't realize this, but Trump didn't endorse Ken Paxton until after Thune recess, huh? Remember that? For summer or for graduation season or whatever it is. Hello, Mopi. Good to see you, dear. Thanks for being here. Yeah, looking good.
County here. You're in that metroplex area, sort of getting to the outer fringes here. The
I think he would have won without Trump's endorsement anyways.
Again, Ken Paxton leading here.
But I think Trump's endorsement was just a guarantee.
I was going to explain all of this to you. This sheet that I'm looking at, I was going to explain all of it to you at the start, but this happened so quickly here. Just take a look here. This was actually a decent Paxton County in the preliminary, but this is going much better for him. We're seeing that everywhere. Zoom out, 13%. Paxton's lead is 17 points here over Cornyn statewide. And again, you're just seeing this pattern everywhere. A lot of these are smaller counties here in terms of population that we're starting to get some numbers from. But just seeing if anything else here particularly sizable has come in.
Nueces popped in. You also have Bowdoin 33 congressional district when you have
this
Galveston
is
where, popped in.
Yeah, this is where Corpus Christi is. Sort of the coastal Bend area here. And again, Cornyn won this county in the preliminary. Okay, trounced. The story hasn't changed anywhere we've looked. So let me pause here and try to just take a little big picture here to, I think you can all see clearly what's happening here as this starts to fill in. Texas is a split poll closing state, okay? 254 counties. These two are in the Mountain Time Zone. Everything else is in the Central Time Zone. So what can happen here is happening is all of this can fill in this 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock hour right now. No declaration gets made by our decision desk in terms of characterizing the race, calling the race, anything like that, until all the polls in the state are closed. And the polls are going to be open here until 9 o'clock Eastern in these two counties. Okay, so that's what's happening here. So there will be no characterization from the decision desk in this 8 to 9 o'clock hour. So we could just talk about what we're seeing, though, in these results. Boy, they are coming in super fast. Okay, Brazoria. Okay, yeah, wow. Here's one. This is the Houston area right here. Okay, Brazoria County. And again, 2/3 of the vote. This was a pretty good place for Ken Paxton in the preliminary, but now it's just what a landslide this is for him right here. We mentioned again in that preliminary, it was Paxton, there was Cornyn. The major third candidate in the preliminary was Wesley Hunt. He's a congressman from Harris County, from the Houston area. One of the questions was these counties in the Houston area, how are they going to look without without Hunt in the picture? Hunt had endorsed Ken Paxton after Trump had. Galveston County. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah. This was. Go back out here. 16% of the vote. So just, you're getting the picture, but what you have here, okay, what I did to get ready for this, now I take you through these quickly here. We are going to have an update, by the way we do these, if you've been watching.
Hi, Freya and Jillian over in Rumble. Good to see you.
Our streaming channel, Gotti Schwartz's show is on right now. They want to check in. They're going to check in about 3 minutes. So you will see that hit. You'll watch Gotti throw to me, and we'll do that a couple times here tonight. I want to tell you, there are congressional races here. As soon as we finish this hit, we're going to look in on the congressional races because I think that's where some of the action really might be shifting right now. But just before we do that hit, I'll explain to really put in it starkly what this is that we're looking at right now. You just looked at that preliminary back in March. Remember, John Cornyn finished first in the preliminary. Okay, he got 42% of the vote statewide. Paxton got 40.5% of the vote statewide in that preliminary, okay? And then the other candidates got the rest of the vote. So if you adjusted the Cornyn and Paxton vote in that preliminary kind of proportionally, okay, I basically created targets, benchmarks here for each candidate, and just based on that, because it was close to a tie between them. Cornyn had a slight edge. So in a county, right, like Galveston County, okay, there was a slight advantage for Paxton over Cornyn in the preliminary. The adjusted vote in the preliminary was Paxton 54%. He's running at 72% in the early vote. Again, supposed to be the Cornyn friendly vote. Okay, right down here in Brazoria County. Paxton's running at 71%. What was the adjusted, his share of the adjusted two-way vote was 52% of the vote in the preliminary. Okay, 20 points better. And again, this is probably not even his best batch of votes you're looking at right here. So Dallas, I mentioned Dallas County. Cornyn won it. What was Cornyn's share in the preliminary in Dallas County? One of the giants in the state. He got 61%. He's running 10 points under that. And again, what's supposed to be his strong suit here. I had mentioned Denton. It was the first thing that came in. What was Paxton's a two-way share in the preliminary here? You know, he had won it with 50. Oh, sorry about that. Never remember if I have it on or off. He had won it with 51. He's now up at 62. So that's what you're seeing. I mean, it's a very, you know, we could even find some of the small counties that are coming in. Let's go. I mean, like here, for example, check Mitchell County. I just kind of picked it at random here. Cornyn got 62% of the two-way vote compared to Cornyn in the preliminary, running at 77%. Right next door here, Nolan. What was it? Nolan was a Cornyn county. He got 57% in the preliminary. So the pattern here is just everywhere we're looking. Let's Hayes County. This is a big one just south of Austin here. This was Cornyn country in the preliminary. Cornyn got 54% of the two-way vote here, now just 40. So you can see it. We got a sixth of the vote in basically now statewide. That pattern is pretty unmistakable. I know we're going to be going to News Now. We'll do this hit for News Now. How much time do I have till that? About a minute. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to, if we're seeing this Metroplex vote, that means, in fact, I'll do it very quickly. That means we got, 33 is what I was trying to press there. Yeah, that means we also have this happening. We'll revisit this after the News Now hit. This is all in Dallas County. This is the Democratic primary. The incumbent Julie Johnson, Colin Allred, who previously represented sort of this area. This has got caught up in the redistricting drama, trying to get a seat back against the woman who succeeded him. Allred had led in the preliminary here over Johnson, and now you can see here in the early vote a 10-point advantage for Allred over Johnson. Johnson will have to turn this around with the same-day vote, which, again, we expect is going to be much smaller than the early vote. She's going to have to run up landslide margins over Allred when the election day vote gets counted here. Otherwise, she will become a former member of Congress. She will be defeated in this primary by a former member of Congress. Let me go back here to the Senate race statewide. Okay, about 18%. Are we coming up on that hit? We're 45 seconds. That was a 15 seconds. It's like we got the refs here trying to. Okay. So we got about 30 seconds. I'm just trying to see if there's another one I can quickly show you here. I mean, look, nothing new has come in them. I can hear them coming in.
Some updates on the side. Mays Middleton, 56%. 56%. Mays Middleton is up by 12 points. Wow. Oops. Well, anyways. Yeah, so here's the map, by the way. Look at that. Becky, are you here? Your guy is winning.
After redistricting and carved up
some
congressional districts. Joining us now at the big board is NBC's chief data analyst, Steve Kornacki. Steve, great to see you. Most polls in Texas just closed. Are we seeing any meaningful returns?
We've seen some very meaningful returns, Gotti. Look, we've gotten a ton of vote, actually, almost a fifth of all the votes statewide. And if you're Senator John Cornyn, you do not like the numbers that you're seeing so far here. You can see right now he's more than 20 points behind Ken Paxton, the state attorney general, endorsed by Donald Trump in this race. And what we're really seeing here, Gotti, is remember, this is sort of a rematch, a follow-up to the preliminary back in March. These were the two top vote getters in that preliminary back in March. And what we're seeing is, compared to back then, it is Paxton who's making massive improvements in one county after another, some major population centers, including right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area, down in the suburbs of Austin here, down in Corpus Christi, getting down towards South Texas, just across the board, county after county. You're seeing Paxton so far run dramatically better than he did in that preliminary, and you're seeing Cornyn obviously run much worse than that. So these early reports, if you're Ken Paxton, you are certainly feeling very good about what you're seeing, and really, if you're John Cornyn, there's really nothing at this moment to look at on that map to make you smile.
Yeah, we'll see if those trends continue, as 20% now reporting. Steve Kornacki, thank you so very much, and you can continue watching live.
All right, folks, and thank you to Gotti. Thank you to all our friends over there at News Now. you're making that work and making us part of the show like that. Really appreciate it. Webb County just came in here in deep South Texas here. Okay, again, the early vote. You see Paxton trouncing. This was 56 for Paxton in the preliminary. Okay, now 66-34, right? It was a 12-point margin. It was 56-44 was the two-way share between Paxton and Cornyn in the preliminary. Now you're seeing 66-34, 12 up to 32. Right? Okay, that's the kind of shift we're looking at here. This was actually Kennedy County. This is tiny. This is 3 votes. Forget I even did that. Starr County. This is 38 votes. Right? Remember, right here along the border, especially in deep South Texas.
Hey, Becky's back. Becky. But very bizarre. According to my poll, most of you are Chip Roy fans. Yeah, Becky's not a Chip Roy fan. Becky's a Mays Middleton fan. Apparently, Mays Middleton is more oil friendly. And Chip Roy's been voting on a lot of things that are not good for oil. And that position, by the way, it's not for the House representative seats. They're both running for Attorney General. They're running for the seat that Ken Paxton used to have, which means it would have a very big impact on law. This is the Attorney General. So Mays Middleton, by the way, I just texted you, Becky. Mays Middleton's up by 11.5 points, 11.6. Look at that. Yeah. We're only 20% counted. But it's looking pretty good for Mays Middleton. Looks like the MAGA candidates are doing great. Look at that. Look at Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton's blowing out John Cornyn. Look at that.
Period. Last week, meaning
Dallas is the only one where John Cornyn's winning, and he's only winning by like 1 point, and that's like his stronghold too.
Trump was siding with Ken Paxton in this race, right? And we're looking at, in each one of these counties we've been going through, we're looking at early vote, meaning we're looking at the vote here that Paxton is sort of running up the score over Cornyn with probably includes a fair number of voters who didn't even know Trump was on Paxton's side when they cast their vote. So again, there was an expectation coming into this based on the preliminary, right, when the same day vote was more from the election day vote was more favorable for Paxton. And based on Paxton having that late endorsement from Trump, there was an expectation that it would be the early vote where Cornyn would kind of hold his own. And then if that Trump endorsement was really going to be seen, it would be seen when they started counting up the election day. Maybe it still will. Maybe the election day vote's going to be that much better than Paxton. But Cornyn is not holding his own, as we're showing you here, with the early vote, really, in any of these places. Going through, East Texas here, this was a pretty good area for Paxton in the preliminary. Again, I'm just sort of like kind of randomly going to Rusk County here, but just to give you a taste of it, this was two-way vote here was 51-49 in the preliminary, now 60-40, right? From 2 to nearly 20. That's the kind of gain that Paxton's making sort of across the board right here. So this continues to populate, again, Mountain Time Zone, just these two counties right here, in a tiny little sliver there in Culberson County, too, observes Mountain Time Zone. Everything else, though.
You have Collin, too.
What did we just get?
Collin.
We just got, we got Collin County. Okay, and here we go. Now this is interesting too. The early vote is in Collin County. This was a Paxton, the two-way share here. This was close, okay, but the two-way share here for Paxton in the preliminary, it was 51-49, and now you're seeing 62-38. Consistent with everything else. Now Collin County is a little interesting because, first of all, Ken Paxton launched his political career in Collin County, a state legislator from Collin County before he went on to become state attorney general. His wife, and this became a story in the campaign, his wife, who was
just some updates on Chris Mays versus Chip Roy. I mean, Mays Middleton versus Chip Roy. It is now 24% counted. Mays Middleton is up by 10.8 points. So not bad.
Runoff featuring her estranged husband against John Cornyn. So there was some sort of speculation here about how that drama and the sort of the fact that Ken Paxton and his wife are both very prominent public figures in Collin County, how that would sort of play out when you got the results right here. Well, again, it's very comparable to what we're seeing everywhere else here, where again, a 2-point lead for Paxton in the two-way share in the preliminary has exploded now to well over 20 points. Again, we'll zoom out statewide. We now have a quarter of the vote counted statewide. Again, you're looking at early vote right here. You're looking at a near sweep in terms of the counties that have reported so far in their early vote of Paxton's shade of red right here, translating into more than a 20-point margin there, really nearly a 23-point margin over Cornyn. Look, we were on the air two Saturday nights ago. Next door in Louisiana, Senator Bill Cassidy became the first elected incumbent senator since 2012 to be denied renomination, to lose in a primary. Republican Bill Cassidy, who was opposed by Donald Trump in that Louisiana primary, he was trounced in that primary. Now, here we are about 10 days later, and here's Senator John Cornyn, elected in 2002, a 24-year incumbent, who you could see was trying, as this campaign went, he was just trying to get to the runoff, to the election day, without having Trump get involved here. If he figured if he wasn't going to get it, he just didn't want Trump endorsing Paxton. And there was a whole drama here because initially after the preliminary, it actually looked like Trump might go with Cornyn, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, Trump endorsed Paxton because Thune went on recess without passing a SAVE Act. Huh?
Came in for Paxton.
Huh?
And
fuckers.
Again, if this is what we're going to be looking
Save
at,
America Act, I should say.
In Texas, when all is said and done, something like this, again, that the power of that Trump endorsement, you're going to be talking about that again and again now. That would be two incumbent senators in the span of 10 days defeated in primaries. We hadn't seen it in 14 years before that.
Hey, Steve.
Yes, Cornyn.
I have a little bit of election day early split in tiny Stonewall County up there in the north. So in the early vote, I have Paxton 64 over Cornyn 36. And then in the election day vote, I have Paxton 87 over Cornyn 13.
Goodness. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So, in the early vote, in this county, Stonewall County, Adams talking about 28 points is the margin for Paxton over Cornyn. And now we're starting to get election day. And we said this would be the more Cornyn-friendly was the expectation. The election day vote, everyone election day, presumably full knowledge of that Trump endorsement. Paxton had already done better with the election day vote back in the preliminary. Wow. A 74-point margin from 28 to 74. So if that's a harbinger, what we're seeing in that one small county.
Jay Knight says Operation Rhino removal in full swing. Yeah, you know what sucks though? Operation Rhino removal is going to take like 20 years. We have a long ways to go, but this is a good start. This is a good start.
The margin approaching 25 points.
We just have to hope that whatever credibility Trump has, that it gets passed on to whoever gets elected in 2028, if it's going to be a Republican. I got a good feeling they're going to steal it.
It'd be 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain Time. That's when these two counties in the Mountain Time Zone
or try to, anyways,
will close there, and then it's open season on any kind of declaration or characterization that our decision desk wants to make. I see we just got Harris County. Wow, biggest county in the state. 5 million people in Harris County, bigger than a lot of U.S. states. 10% probably of all the votes cast tonight in Texas are going to come out of this county. And look at this in the early vote. Paxton, but basically a 30-point advantage over Cornyn.
He even got Harris County. Harris County, where that's the county of Lina Hidalgo, the most corrupt judge in this entire country.
Why? Because this was almost a tie between the two, between Paxton and Cornyn in the preliminary. In fact, the share in the two-way vote in the preliminary. Geez, I always forget which. Let me just center that map up again here. In the two-way vote, it was 51-49 Cornyn over Paxton. There was a big chunk of the vote in that preliminary, too, that went to Wesley Hunt. Remember, the third candidate, Wesley Hunt, congressman from Harris County. Now, Trump endorsed Paxton. When Trump endorsed Paxton, Wesley Hunt last week also endorsed Paxton. I don't know if that had any impact here, but we said this is the kind of county that Cornyn needs to win, just like he did in the preliminary. And instead,
all right, real quick, I got some updates on the Middleton versus Chip Roy race. It is now 35% counted, and Mays Middleton is up by 15 points. Wow. Yeah, that is a Dunzos. Dunzos there. Holy crap. Hello, more chaos. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out.
We reset statewide. You can take a look and see.
36%. If you guys are new here, I do a new show daily at noon Eastern.
And Fort Bend in
it's part comedy. I'm very inappropriate and I don't care.
Thank you.
I hope you subscribe anyways. Thank you. Ring the bell for notifications. Every day at noon. It's a good time. We all hang out here. Talk a lot of crap.
My goodness.
It says 99%. I'm assuming that needs to be updated, but we do have confirmed reports from both counties.
Okay, let's. You're all looking at it probably. So this is. We don't have election day vote here. There's no way we have election day vote, right, Adam? There's nothing.
Yes.
Okay. This is. Forget you're seeing that right now. So sometimes what happens here with our system is there's estimates in the system about what the turnout's going to be. We're always telling you as the vote comes in, they're adjusting it. So that this is based on an estimate by our decision desk about how much vote is left. So this can be adjusted, but I do want to show you what we're getting.
It can be adjusted. Here. We can change it to whatever we want. We're the ones who decide who wins and who loses. We're the media. We're evil.
Redistricting brouhaha over the last year here. Christian
Subscribe. It's fun
was
here.
Elected just in January in a special election to an old district that's not going to exist anymore.
Sonny Danielson voted for Mays 15 minutes before poll closed. Good stuff. Yeah, I thought Chip Roy was the man, but apparently Becky set me straight. Patriot RV Life out in, she's from south of Houston, and she says, no. She called me N-word. She's like, no, N-word. It's Mays Middleton that's the one you want. This is for the AG position. This is to replace Ken Paxton. Yeah.
Harris County portion of the district. Long way of saying, take a look here.
We got some updates on this, by the way, now. Mays Middleton. We are 38% counted. Mays Middleton is 13.8% ahead. So good stuff there.
This is Green's political base here. Green won Fort Bend big.
Oh, Al Green. Look at that.
In the preliminary.
Al Green, he's going to be, I thought his district was gone. I guess they left one, right? They left one, so Al Green is still there, but I believe they drew it in a way where it's like he's not going to win. Yeah. I believe they got rid of Al Green as well as Jasmine Crockett.
Now we're down to
Yeah.
We've
called
it. Yes.
I'm sorry, folks. This one, we made a bit of a mess on this one. As you can see here with that expected vote, it did come down, but the margin for Menifee, I was being very hesitant there because I'm trying to understand on the fly what's happening with with that expected vote.
It's okay.
So now it has been adjusted. Our decision desk believes the vast majority of the vote is in here and has now declared Christian Menifee the winner.
Al Green is gone.
Al Green. This is a pretty significant development here. Okay, again, Menifee was only elected about 4 months ago. Okay, it was a special election. Previous incumbent had passed away in office, going up against Al Green here. And again, in the preliminary, this was a very close race. Menifee got 46% in the preliminary. Green got 44%. Nobody got a majority, so they went into this runoff here. And those numbers I was just showing you that have come in so far. I mean, this is the really jarring one to see. I think just in terms of where expectations were. Green won Fort Bend in a landslide in the preliminary, getting crushed by Menifee here in his home base. And again, that's Harris County. And so
those of you checking in to see how Ken Paxton's doing, he's at 62.5%, 41% counted. He's up by about 25 points. It's impossible for Cornyn to come back on that one.
Al Green, losing here.
All the I'll tell you this: the early votes was John Cornyn, and he lost. Okay, the only one he won was Dallas, and that one he was up by like 1 point. He was ahead by like 1 point. So that race is essentially done for. Ken Paxton is going to be our next senator, unless they pull some serious shenanigan in November.
Product of that redistricting brouhaha.
Colin Allred, I don't like that guy either.
Represented the area.
He looks damn evil, you know what I mean? When you look at him, he looks like he's about to murder you. You know, that might be a skin color thing, I don't know, but hey, I think that's a fair critique, huh?
But then opted
you know,
out.
it's faster than getting to know them, you know.
In the House, challenging Johnson in this primary. Allred beat her by 11 points in the preliminary.
Anyway, so yeah, here's the map real quick. Here's the Ken Paxton and John Cornyn race right there. Bam! 41% of the votes in, 25%, 25-point lead. I don't know of any notable representative seats to look at. That's the map there, but the Mays Middleton and Chip Roy race, Mays Middleton's up by 14.6%, 14.6 points, and it is 40% counted. So those two races are done for. Oh, he's talking about Paxton now.
Losing his primary. We have our decision desk saying that Al Green. Sorry about this. We have our decision desk saying that Al Green has lost his primary, his Democratic primary, and you have Julie Johnson in real serious danger now of losing her Democratic primary for the House. That's 3 incumbents. Let's take a look here. Do we have any votes coming in yet? In the 9th district here, if we have a little bit of Harris County, we should. This one, okay. We're just the Harris County portion. This is the 9th district.
Real quick, I'm going to interrupt real quick. Don't forget, I got 2 other channels. Links to both of them are in the description. This is Frank's show clips. It's basically short clips of this long show here that I do on noon Eastern every day. And then it's Frank's Funny Shorts, which is non-political shorts. Yeah? Anywho, how are we looking here? 42% counted. Paxton by about 25 points. Good stuff.
Kane too in the run-up to this. So again, this is a Trump-endorsed candidate here. So far, breaking clear in the preliminary after in the runoff.
Another one. Look at that.
A close preliminary.
Another Trump-endorsed candidate.
In the 35th district. I want to check this in the San Antonio area. This a race that's attracted national attention. And now let's take a minute and pause on this because I want to understand where the vote is coming from here. Okay, the story here. If you're watching this, you're probably broadly familiar. Johnny Garcia, Maureen Galindo. Maureen Galindo finished first in a crowded preliminary back in March. She's made comments that are clearly, anti-Semitic, been denounced by her party. A lot of leaders in her party for that. You've got James Tallarico, the Democratic nominee for Senate, saying he will not campaign with Galindo if she wins this. You did have reports here of a Republican-aligned group spending money on behalf of or trying to boost Galindo's prospects in this, believing she'd be a very beatable candidate. This is a potentially competitive district. So again, we are looking at about half the vote in here. Okay, Bexar County. I'm just seeing if there's any variance in these counties. In the Wilson County, this is tiny though in terms of where the vote comes from. Karnes County, yeah. Her opponent, Johnny Garcia, Bexar and Guadalupe are really the only 2 places where there's votes on the Democratic side. So you're getting the early vote there in Bexar County. This is where San Antonio is, okay? And then Guadalupe County here outside of it. These are the 2 main places where you're going to find votes on the Democratic side. And in the early vote, you do see Garcia here with a 20-point advantage.
It's pronounced Garcia. That is incorrect, sir.
Just calling this one up. Again, I want to just... In the primary or in the preliminary, yeah, this is a bit of a change because in the preliminary, Galindo got more votes in Bexar than Garcia. Garcia is an official with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. So about 3/4 of the vote in this district comes from Bexar County. About a quarter comes from Guadalupe. Just sort of, this is very, very small again in terms of its impact district-wide. So that is a clear advantage there early in the votes for Garcia over Galindo. But Galindo is over 40% of the vote right there. Now, I say this is a potentially competitive district. Again, all the Texas redistricting saga of the last year. This district was drawn, originally it would have been a Democratic district in the area that really connected up by Austin. And it turned into a district that's based in Bexar County and then Republican suburbs of it. Trump
this is some breaking news. I don't know if this is true, but Trump has appointed Pam Bondi to the White House AI panel. That's according to Axios, and that's why I'm saying that. I don't know if that's true or not. That doesn't make sense. She's got no technical expertise whatsoever. And she's a disappointment.
On the Republican side, and wow, this is
look at Jay Knight's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay, now John Luan, this is
oh man, I don't know. That's from Axios, so take it with a grain of salt. Axios is not honest at all.
Dela Cruz, who's a Republican congresswoman from South Texas here.
Hello, Jillian. Good to see you.
Dela Cruz has the endorsement of Donald Trump. Lujan actually received more votes in the preliminary. So this is a real interesting test here of Donald Trump and his endorsement. You have a very locally popular politician in this part of the district, Bexar County. Now, on the Republican side, the numbers work a lot differently. Bexar is a little bit less than half the vote on the Republican side. This is Lujan's base, and he is leading here in the early vote in Bexar County. But then you get outside of it. You get to Wilson County. You get down here in Karnes County. These are much more significant pieces of real estate on the Republican side. Probably about close to a quarter of the vote will come out of these two counties tonight. And there's Dela Cruz leading in both of them. And then Guadalupe County. It's almost the same size of Bexar in terms of the vote impact. So Guadalupe really, if you're Lujan, frankly, you probably want a bigger number so far out of Bexar, your Bexar County base, given that you're trailing here, you're trailing in Karnes. And if you don't turn it, if that pattern continues into Guadalupe County, that will net out to Dela Cruz's advantage. But Guadalupe looms large. That's going to be, when we get Guadalupe, Adam, if you could shout, I think that's going to really clarify the picture there in the 35th district. Again, this is the Republican primary. Dela Cruz running with Trump's endorsement, again, to get the winner of the Democratic primary here, Garcia Galindo.
Thank you, Just Jim, for the donation. Thank you, Just Jim.
We have showed you this, Kristen Menefee. And again, I apologize for the confusion with the expected vote, which you can see has come down again a little bit more here. But our decision desk has made that call. And in the 9th district, again, we've shown you here, very good start if you're Alex Mueller, the Trump endorsed candidate. Let's return to the story of the hour. What time is it?
8:37.
Okay, so we are still 23 minutes away from polls closing. But this is the big story, obviously, in Texas and nationally right now. Ken Paxton just running up, trying to find the right way to characterize it without characterizing it. But I think folks know what I'm trying to say here.
By the way, I'm getting a second corroboration of the Trump appointment of Pam Bondi to the AI panel.
This is where Waco is, right?
Bondi will be tasked with facilitating coordination between the government and AI companies on the panel. Bondi will also serve in a newly established advisory role on the national infrastructure. So you're telling me Pam Bondi, the lady who redacted her friend's name on the Epstein files, is going to be in charge of AI, huh? Huh. I wonder what AI will be censoring after her appointment, huh?
I'm curious, same day vote coming in some places?
Yeah,
that
we
sucks.
have a few more full counties. I'll find a good one and update you.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that was an absolutely massive shift there. I mean, look out here, Lubbock, where Texas Tech University is guns up. That's what they say out there. Again, in the preliminary, I got my little cheat sheet here. This is another good one for Cornyn in the preliminary. 56-44 was the two-way vote in the preliminary, down to 40, up to nearly 60. It was plus 12 Cornyn in the preliminary. Now it's basically plus 20 for Paxton so far, shift of 32 points. And again, just the early vote, very possible that that's going to get more pro-Paxton. Up here, Amarillo, the only real population center in the Panhandle. But again, Cornyn had won Potter County. Okay, Amarillo kind of splits between these two counties, Potter and Randall. Cornyn's two-way share was 56% of the vote in Potter. He's getting 36%. Go down to Randall County. The two-way share here was 61%. For Cornyn got 61%, and the two-way share in Randall down to 38%. So these are catastrophic numbers if you're John Cornyn. Take a look. Yeah, Montgomery County. This one I wanted to see. This one, okay, Montgomery County is one of the biggies. Okay, how big? This is the largest plurality-producing county in America for Donald Trump in 2024. So what are we talking about geographically? We're talking about sort of north of Houston right here, suburbs. It's that massive...
All right, Texas gal says she went to go vote for Ken Paxton today and so glad he's won. Yeah, thanks for voting. If you want to know what the standings are right now, that's what it's at. Ken Paxton is up by 25 points with 43% of the votes counted. There's little to no way that that Cornyn is coming back. Good riddance. We don't need any more rhino dinosaur senators anymore.
Montgomery County was a Paxton landslide back in the preliminary. So I thought, wow, if he's having a much better night tonight, what's Montgomery going to look like? I can tell you the two-way vote in the preliminary here was 67-33. So actually, so far, News Now wants to do a hit? Okay, folks, we're going to do another News Now hit in about 30 seconds. This one, again, like already Paxton had trounced Cornyn here. This was Paxton's best number really in the state in the preliminary, doing better with the early. And again, that same day, you would expect that to go up more. We're going to reset, take a look at that. We got News Now coming here in a few seconds. So I'm going to just lower my voice and here we go. Okay, do we have, they want to do Menifee, are we?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we?
Yeah, the changes were they updated the expected vote in both counties, Harris and Fort Bend.
Okay.
And they did it one after the other.
Okay. So we've got, we're at 2/3. Say again?
Duradio says Paxton could be majority leader. I like the idea, but he doesn't have enough experience yet. I think a more likely majority leader would be Josh Hawley, but he's not aggressive enough. See, I would like how aggressive Ted Cruz is, but he's not exactly. He's like another Soon, you know what I mean? So I'm like, it has got to be someone who's loud and crazy, you know. Otherwise, they're just gonna get bullied by the Democrats, you know. Hi, y'all says he or she voted for Paxton on Friday. Good stuff. Well, Paxton's likely winning. Look at this. Paxton, 44% of the votes are counted. Paxton is up by 25 points. It is not likely at all that John Cornyn is coming back at all. And if you're interested in the AG race, the person replacing Paxton, Mays Middleton is up by 15 points. Yeah, 15 points. And it's 43% counted. And based on Becky's opinion and her feedback, it looks like Middleton is the better one, in my opinion. If this was for if this was for Chip Roy's incumbent seat, then I think that Chip Roy's probably better for that one, working in D.C. But if he's going to be AG of Texas, Mays Middleton's fine. He doesn't need to deal with the swamp. You know what I mean? So, good stuff. 15 points there. Oh, Al Green's gone. Look at that.
A chunk of Menifee's district, which is up here in Harris County, with a smaller portion of Green's, which is here in Fort Bend. And Green was winning this by a huge margin in the preliminary. It's totally reversed. So when they see that on top of Menifee doing what he was expected to do in his Harris County base, that adds up to, that's it for Green. They are counting me down here, meaning we're about to do that News Now hit. We're going to talk about this race. That's why I got it up. Bear with us, folks. You'll see it, and we'll be right back.
Please subscribe, hit the like button, and also ring the bell for notification. Also got 2 other channels in the description. Check them out. Thank you.
And we're back with some breaking news. A race now called in the Texas primary. Democratic Representative Al Green unseated by Representative Christian Menifee in a Texas primary. Let's get straight over to Steve Kornacki. Steve, this just came in?
Yeah, Gotti, and I think the scale of this one is really surprising here because, again, we're talking about runoffs, meaning, these are 2 candidates who faced off back in March in a preliminary election. There were multiple candidates then. Nobody got 50%. It was very close in the preliminary between Menifee and Green. Green, the longtime incumbent. Menifee just elected in a special election to a different seat a few months ago. But wow, what a difference a few months make here. In this runoff election, Menifee now is absolutely kind of pouring it on over Green, and in particular what's happened in this district is right around Houston and the big suburbs just south of Houston in Fort Bend County. And what's happening is Fort Bend County is the political base of Al Green. In that preliminary, he did great there, made him competitive district-wide. The floor has just fallen out for him in his own political base tonight in Fort Bend County. He's getting clobbered.
By the way, just some hi Tara, good to see you, dear. just some feedback, some updates on, well, just some details on this. So the next senator that Trump has in his crosshairs will be Rand Paul. Those of you who know me long enough, you know I was a libertarian until they turned super gay, until they started advocating for chopping kids' dicks off and propping up furries. You know, the head of the Libertarian Party is a furry right now. Yeah, so embarrassing. I'm no longer a libertarian. I am a neocon Republican now. Anyways, Rand Paul was last reelected in 2022, which means his seat is up for grabs in 2028. So this is I believe the next person he has in his crosshairs. I wouldn't be surprised if by then, I wouldn't be surprised if Murkowski and Susan Collins got added to that as well, because they are awful. Yep, Al Green is out. Yes.
In the preliminary matchup,
Al Green he just lost the primary. He's not even close. He only got like a third of the votes.
And tonight it's Paxton 65-35.
You live, you leer.
Yeah. So, I mean, you folks just heard what Adam said, but
says Jay Knight. Hello, Texas Honey. You get to see it here.
That's answering the question about mixing together the election day vote.
Hello, Pearly Gates. Hello, Jillian. Hello, Freya.
254 in Texas. 18 now we have complete results from. We have the early and the election day combined. And in those 18, Paxton's beating Cornyn by 30 points. And in those same 18 counties, in that two-way share of the vote we've been talking about as our big metric tonight in the preliminary, Paxton beat Cornyn 51-49 by 2. So 2 is now 30. So the 18 completed counties in Texas represent, if you're just comparing the two-way share in each one of them, a 28-point shift, a 28-point net shift in Paxton's favor. And again, remember, in the preliminary statewide, the result was Cornyn 42%, and Paxton 40.5, right? So it was a 1.5 point margin there for Cornyn over Paxton. Again, that wasn't the two-way adjusted vote, but that was just the raw preliminary vote. So Paxton is doing light years better than that tonight, and we're now seeing it in completed counties. And again, we don't have Austin. Did I show you Bexar? We could check it in Bexar County. Again, this was a Cornyn. Cornyn, I think his share of the two-way vote here. Yeah, his share was 53% here in the preliminary, 53-47. It was +6 Cornyn. Now it's +18 Paxton. Shift of 24 points. So you're seeing it there. Waco. I showed you the Woodlands. We got Brazoria. I'm trying to see what else any major population centers. Kind of that fringe metroplex area here. Actually, go to Grayson County, right? Paxton won this in the preliminary, but yeah, barely. His two-way share was 51%. It was 51-49 in the two-way. Look at that. From 2, right, to 44. And again, that's without the election day vote coming in yet. So I would look down here and look at, I even see Paxton. This is interesting. Down here in Cameron County, right where Brownsville is. This is actually pretty big. And again, a lot of the folks here, this area has been trending Republican or trending toward the Republicans a bit, but you don't see a huge number of raw votes because a lot of folks still locally, the Democratic culture is still very, very sort of entrenched locally. But still, this was a very good county for Cornyn in the preliminary. In the two-way vote then, it was 57-43 Cornyn, right? He won it by 14. And he's now losing it by 21. That's a 35-point shift right down there in deep South Texas, right along the U.S.-Mexico border. I see 3 counties. I see 4 counties in the state. One up here, tiny county up here in the Panhandle, where Cornyn's actually leading right now. He's leading by where he's leading. He's leading by a single vote in Sherman County up there by the Oklahoma border in the Panhandle. In Panola County, this was a good one for Cornyn in the primary. But again, it's tiny. Dallas County is the big one where Cornyn, and we showed you this. Cornyn's lead there is 1.4 in the early vote, and then down here they get small county, Victoria County, and just looking to see what this was actually. Well, there it is. This is the single best piece of news if you're John Cornyn on the map, because in the preliminary, Paxton won this. It was 58-42. So it was 16 for Paxton, and look at that. There's John Cornyn leading it by 0.6 of a point with only 12% of the vote in. That's the best news for John Cornyn on this entire map right now. A tiny, tiny county with a small fraction of the vote in. He's posting a net improvement there.
Eat shit, Cornyn.
16.5 points. Everywhere else we're seeing 20, 30, 40-point shifts here in Paxton's direction relative to that preliminary. So again, we zoom out. We're getting close to half the vote statewide. And again, Adam, what time is it now?
8:51.
8:51. So keep me honest on that time because, as I explained, we are now 9 minutes away from what? Full poll closing in the state. In 9 minutes, it's these three. I always do this. It's these three counties out here because there's just a sliver of Culberson County that observes Mountain Time Zone. So these polls will close at 9 o'clock. The entire state will be closed. And when the entire state is closed, our decision desk is then free to make any characterization that they want. Not sure how they'll handle this one, Adam. I don't know.
It's a mystery.
So we got that. We'll just take a quick look through again at these House races here. Again, the 18th, we've shown you. We've seen one incumbent lose there. In the 33rd district, we're waiting on same-day vote, but Julie Johnson, she is in deep, deep trouble there. In the 9th district here, again, this is the Trump-endorsed candidate with extremely good early numbers for her. And then that 35th district, do we have any new vote here? I believe this is where it was already, the San Antonio area. And again, you've got Garcia, Galindo. Galindo would be sort of the nightmare nominee if you're a Democrat. If you're a Republican, would probably be your dream opponent, although I don't know how many people would feel great with a candidate saying those things wins.
Texas Honey says she's not happy about Chip Roy losing. I was on a Chip Roy train, but I had a long talk with Patriot Army Life Becky, and she's a native there, and she's from Big Oil. Not that she was a tycoon or anything like that, but she was a contractor out there, and she says Mays Middleton's a lot better. She says that Chip Roy has a long history of voting against like oil and stuff like that. And so you're going to see a lot of the oil people coming out against Chip Roy pretty hard. This, by the way, is not for his incumbency. This is for the AG of Texas. The Chip Roy, this race right here, the Chip Roy Mays Middleton race, that is for Ken Paxton's old seat. So that's for AG. So that's for so this is not going to be working in DC. If it was for a DC position, yeah, probably Chip Roy is a better idea. Because he's there, he has the experience. But this is for the AG of Texas, and that's not Chip. It's not Chip Roy's So, anywho, so that's where it is right now for Mays Middleton Chip Roy. Mays Middleton is up by about 13.4 points, and it is 45% counted. And checking back with Ken Paxton, he is up by about 25 points still. 45% counted. So these two races are pretty much done deal. There's still a chance Chip Roy can catch up, but based on sentiment in the chat, it seems like most people, it's odd. The poll does say 66% Chip Roy, but at the same time, just 12 hours ago, I was a Chip Roy guy because I'd never heard of Mays Middleton before. So I'm like, okay, well, And it's not like Mays Middleton is an unknown. He was endorsed by Donald Trump for some state position. A state position, by the way, in 2022. So Mays Middleton has been working that position for the last 4 years. Trump didn't endorse either of the two. But I think Mays Middleton is going to be okay. Yeah. If Becky thinks he's good, I'm like, all right. Becky knows better. Anywho, guys, if you're new here, please give my channel a subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. Remember, I got two other channels, Frank's Show Clip and Frank's Funny Shorts. This one in particular, by the way, if you're going to hype a video, hype it on that channel, please, Frank's Show Clips. If you only get 3 hypes per week, right? And when you hype a big channel, it gets very few points. If you hype the video on this channel, it only get 100 points. If you hype the video on that channel, it gets 2,000 points. So Yeah. Anyways, back to Kornacki.
Adam, about how we both felt that,
Look at that.
Cornyn was in the game here, and this might be surprisingly close. Sorry, Adam. And then I've never had one go like that where it was Denton County, right? We got Denton County right off the bat. We were looking at this at like 8 o'clock and 5 seconds. We were looking at Denton County, which is no slouch when it comes to, look, again, you see more than 40,000 votes already counted right there. And it told us right away. I mean, it's rare in a state this big, in an election this high stakes. This is a 4-term incumbent U.S. Senator we're talking about, who had gotten the most votes. Remember, Cornyn had outfinished Paxton in that March preliminary. And yet, 5 seconds after polls closed, we were looking at a very significant piece of real estate. It's like 3-4% of all the votes statewide comes out of Denton County in a Republican primary, and you're just looking at, holy cow! If you're Cornyn, it was catastrophe from the word go at the snap of a finger. Am I mixing expressions here? What else did we get right away? We got Tarrant County, where Fort Worth was. It's a pretty good place in the preliminary for Cornyn, getting absolutely crushed. We got Beaumont. We got Jefferson, where Beaumont is. Again, Cornyn had done very well there. I'm just reliving those first few minutes. It was set, and the pattern has just been, except down here, little old Victoria County. The pattern has been absolutely sort of ironclad here. So again, at 9 o'clock, our decision desk is able to make characterizations. Right around 9 o'clock, we're going to do a hit on News Now. We will then regroup after that hit. And again, remember, what we're waiting on here in terms of suspenseful races beyond this is this one, where Julie Johnson, needs to sort of pull a rabbit out of the hat with the Election Day vote here. Otherwise, she will lose this seat in a primary to a former member of Congress. She'd become another incumbent, losing tonight. And then, again, that piece of real estate we're talking about here, Guadalupe County, in the San Antonio area, when we get that on the, let me call up the county button here. When we get that, I think it's very telling. Does that light up this shade of red? I think there's a certain amount of expectation that it will. We'll see. But if it does, and then I think De La Cruz has a chance to open up an advantage there, a pretty solid advantage over Lujan. If it doesn't, if it goes Lujan shade, or if it's very close, we got an interesting story. We got a Trump-backed candidate who would be in some danger at that point of losing in a primary. But that county is going to be very clarifying when we get it. Adam, the time?
It's 8:58. We got Guadalupe on the Democratic side.
We do.
We haven't gotten it on the Republican side yet.
That's interesting. Did that just come in?
Yeah, it just came in.
I think we're about to get Guadalupe on the Republican side. Let me pull this up, and I will.
But if you go back to the Texas Senate, we got more in Travis County.
Yeah. This was state capital Austin. Tell me when there's like 59-30.
Yep. 1 minute away.
Yeah, I don't want to miss this. Again, Travis was actually one of Cornyn's like 3 best in the preliminary. He's winning it in the early vote. He's winning it by 8. What was his two-way share? Oh yeah, he got his two-way share in the. Oh my gosh, his two-way share in the preliminary, 64 down to 54. Let me just again. I think folks who've been watching this know why I'm resetting it to this. It's 8:59 and.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, we're going to go to News Now. We're going to go to News Now, and folks, some things might be happening here.
Please subscribe if you're new here. Thank you. Ring the bell for notifications. I do a news show daily at noon Eastern.
15 seconds away, folks.
It is a comedy news show. Thank you very much, Gen Extra, for joining as a member. Look at that. Oh, no, you gifted a membership. Yeah, thank you. Oops, wrong button. Thank you, Gen Extra.
And we are back with breaking news tonight. A major race now called in Texas. Trump-backed candidate Kim Paxton has won the state's Senate race, beating out 4-term incumbent John Cornyn. And in the House, just moments ago, we projected Christian Menifee as the winner in the Texas 18th Congressional District primary. Let's get straight over to Steve Kornacki. Steve, what are we seeing here?
Yeah, Gotti. I mean, look, the numbers kind of speak for themselves in this case here. Polls just closed, as you said here. We were really just waiting on the Mountain Time Zone, a couple counties to come in. But it was evident literally from the first 5 seconds.
Oh, it's called, look at that. They called it. There's a check mark next to Ken's name. Look at that.
A total shift, a total reversal from the preliminary back in March when these two candidates, Ken Paxton and John Cornyn, ran against each other. Back in March, as a matter of fact, Cornyn finished in first place over Paxton. He beat him by about 2 points. Neither one of them got a majority. That's why we had this runoff. But it was very close between these candidates back in March. But this map started lighting up just after 8 o'clock. In fact, I can show you the very first county that came in is a very big one in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex here. This came in at like 8 o'clock and 5 seconds. And look at this. Paxton was absolutely crushing Cornyn. This is a place that Cornyn had actually won, outpaced Paxton in the preliminary, total reversal. And throughout the last hour, we've just seen this in county after county. There's 254 of them here in Texas. And there's really basically no good news on this map anywhere for Cornyn. Just a total shift. Folks will be debating here, in the final week of this campaign. Obviously, Donald Trump got behind Ken Paxton here. Did his endorsement cause Paxton to win by such a landslide margin here? Was Paxton already heading towards that? Was Trump trying to sort of get ahead of that? Was it a combination of the two? Folks can have those discussions coming out of this, but what's clear is this was a very close race between these two in the preliminary, and it is very much not that tonight. Ken Paxton is going to win this in an absolute landslide, and John Cornyn is going to become now the second elected incumbent senator in 10 days to lose a Republican primary. Louisiana's Bill Cassidy did 10 days ago. Before that, Gotti, it had been 14 years.
Fascinating. Steve Kornacki, thank you. Let's bring in Ryan Chandler, who's at...
All right, folks. Well, there it was. As you could see, we had that magic 9 o'clock comes and the check mark appears up on the screen there. Did we get Guadalupe here?
We did.
Okay. On the Republican side. And it did. We said, what color was Guadalupe going to be? Was it going to be the De La Cruz? Was it going to be the Lujan? Wow, it's the De La Cruz color. And again, this is like 40% of the district here. We just got, outside San Antonio, fast growing area here. So again, the contours of this is no small piece of the puzzle here. Okay, Bexar County in this primary, probably a little bit more vote than Guadalupe. Probably about even,
Ozark.
And is it more here? You can see in the preliminary, actually.
Ooh, thank you for subscribing.
Lujan in his home base, winning by 6 points. But then take your,
I just want to update you guys over on the Chip Roy Middleton race. It is 48% counted, and Mays Middleton is up by 13 points. 12.8 points. It's narrowing. The lead is narrowing. The lead is narrowing. This is, by the way, for the AG position. This is to replace Ken Paxton in Texas. This is not for Chip Roy's seat that he's doing right now in D.C. He has decided to try to be AG of Texas, and now he's going to be unemployed next year. So, I don't know. Maybe he'll run for Senate in 2028. I don't know. Take 2 years off. Yeah.
Same day vote. We have been talking about this. We've seen this in primary after primary. It tends to be
Paxton
more
1 has officially been called. They just showed it right now. Had a check next to its name. We got Ken Paxton. This is also CNN. It's also been called for Ken Paxton. So, and if CNN's calling for Ken Paxton, you already know Fox and Decision Desk HQ has also called it for Ken Paxton. So, because this is the last person CNN wanted to win. Anywho, not bad. He's still by 25 points like he was earlier. And Mays Middleton still doing his 13% or so, something like that.
Not the kind of size lead I think he wanted to see.
Good stuff.
So again,
subscribe, please. Thank you. Hit the like button. Don't forget, I got 2 other channels. Frank's show clips as well as Frank's funny shorts. Links in the description for those, okay? Thank you.
In this Maureen Galindo Garcia, or did they just adjust the expected vote?
I think they just adjusted the expected vote.
Oh yeah, Al Green's also gone. You know that guy who keeps interrupting Trump's State of the Union? The Indian looking guy with the cane? Yeah, he's gone. He just lost. He lost his in a primary runoff. He lost. Didn't even make it to November. Look at that. There he is. There's the loser.
This is she's made all sorts of comments here, anti-Semitic comments, as this campaign has progressed. Statewide, National Democrats have tried to distance themselves from her. There has been some pro-Republican money that has been trying to boost her. And again, the context for this 35th district, where the winner of this primary in November will face the winner of this primary. It is under the new map here. This is a district that would have voted for Trump by 10 points in 2024, but it would have been very close in 2020. So Republicans were taking a bit of a chance in drawing the lines for this new 35th district, that those gains Trump made, this is a lot of Hispanic vote in this district, that those gains Trump made with Hispanic voters would continue without Trump on the ballot and in a potentially rough midterm climate like this year. That's a pretty big gamble for Republicans to take. When there's been talk of, did Republicans reach too far with some of their redistricting? This is the kind of district where,
some updates on the Mays Middleton. He's only up by 12 points now. So Chip Roy is closing the gap. 49% counted. Yeah. Kat asked, was Jasmine Crockett already booted? You know how they did redistricting? Her district was drawn out. As far as Al Green and then the guy, the guy that beat him in this, not that one, but Al Green and the guy that beat him, that was 2 Democrat districts that got drawn into one. And he lost in addition to that. So, I mean, he's gone too. So good stuff. Good stuff. By the way, guys, if you're new here, I don't normally do this evening stream. I usually do a news show at noon Eastern daily, okay? Noon Eastern daily. Check in with this. It's a funny show.
We're tracking
so I've been told.
Not that interesting, given the margin that Neeler has here. I just wanted to see if we got a new vote. Again, the Trump-endorsed candidate here against the Greg Abbott-endorsed candidate, the Trump-endorsed candidate with a clear lead right there. So, again, looking back out, the news of the hour, half the vote in, 25-point advantage for Paxton. Still filling in some of these, we might as well show you what happened out there in El Paso, out in the west.
Hi, Debbie Lance. Big hugs to you.
The old song. Cornyn won this one, the two-way vote here in the preliminary. Again, just 30-point shift here tonight in this runoff. It's the story of the night. So Cornyn is going to, and the possibility for Cornyn, I guess the final major thing we can say on this one is that the possibility for Cornyn is that this gets worse. This number gets worse because, again, primarily this is just about, not exclusively, but this is overwhelmingly early vote. And we're seeing Paxton do much better with the election day vote than the early vote. So again, the numbers could shift even more in Paxton's direction as that election day vote gets tabulated. That number could go up. That Cornyn vote could come down more. Again, what did Cassidy just get in Louisiana? Right? I think he got 25% of the vote. There's a 3-way race there in that Louisiana Republican primary 10 days ago. He finished third with 25% of the vote. Cornyn's in the mid-30s, mid to high 30s right now. Where's he going to finish tonight in a 2-way race? Again, 2 incumbents who were targeted by Trump. Trump went more forcefully in his rhetoric after Cassidy. He, sort of provided an endorsement of Paxton, although in the final days of this campaign, Trump started to be more forceful in his...
Thank you very much, Sean Joe on Foxhole for the 3 donations. Thank you, Sean Joe. You're keeping this channel alive. Thank you, buddy.
Both of these incumbent Republican senators going to get absolutely destroyed here. One in a runoff, one in a preliminary over in Louisiana. And again, this is we talked about it at the start of this month. The theme of the month here started in Indiana. Remember Trump going after those Republican state senators who would not redraw the congressional map there. Most of them, not all, but most of them, he succeeded in getting them thrown out in primaries. Many of them by very wide margins. We saw him in Kentucky. We saw the Cassidy race I talked about. We saw a week ago tonight, we were talking about Kentucky, the congressional district in northern Kentucky in the Cincinnati suburbs, where Tom Massey, targeted by Trump, he lost. He lost by 10 points a week ago. And now tonight, you're looking at John Cornyn, sort of a last-minute addition to that Trump target list. Trump lining up with Paxton, and Paxton crushing John Cornyn It's rare to see incumbent senators lose, as we said, 14 years before Cassidy. And now not just lose, we're seeing these two lose in epic landslides. Adam, anything new in these House races?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. And let me ask you this. Can you, I think you had looked at this earlier. Where should I leave this? Maybe I'll leave this here for a second. I think you had looked at this earlier. What was the Dallas County in the preliminary? Because all of this is in Dallas County. When did we get our meaningful Election Day vote?
It was later. I have it written down as 12:01 a.m.
Okay. And we are waiting as well on Election Day. Do we have any Election Day vote? We don't have any Election Day vote in the 35th, right?
No.
Okay. The 9th, we've gone through. We know the 18th. We're in a situation here, folks, full transparency. We're in a situation here where the big story of the night was was resolved in 5 seconds. I can't. I can't get over how fast that happened. So we kind of came into the night saying, the story of the night here is going to be this Republican Senate runoff, and that could be, if it was close, that could take hours, because as you're seeing, once you get the early vote, some of these counties do take a long time to start getting you their Election Day vote. So if this thing had been close, we might be here, Harris County didn't come into like 3 in the morning in the preliminary. So we had that on our minds as a possibility. Okay, obviously it ended in 5 seconds. So we were sort of saying, let's get through the Senate race, and then let's kind of assess where we stand with the House races and what we want to do. And so in full transparency here, as I say, what we're waiting on is Election Day vote here, which it could come it could come right now as I'm having this on. I'm kind of hoping it does. It could also come 3 hours from now. Dallas County can take a while. These big counties can take a while to get their Election Day vote out. As we've said, look, with 2/3 we think of the vote in, Ulrich's lead is 10 points. So Johnson probably has to win the remaining 1/3 by like 20 points. Okay, that's an extraordinarily tall order here. But we're not certainly going to say anything, decision desk won't, until they see that Election Day vote. That Election Day vote could come, it could be a long time sitting here looking at this map, waiting for that. That's all we're waiting for. Just get a look at that Election Day vote, see if anything has changed dramatically in that. Again, that's the scale of change you'd need to see. Otherwise, Colin Allred is going to win back a seat in the House, and Julie Johnson's going to become the third incumbent tonight to lose. And then down here in the 35th district, again, all of the early vote in both of these primaries, call up the counties so you can see the lines here, all of the early vote is counted in each one of the counties in each party's primary. So again, you're looking at Garcia here with a 20-point advantage over Galindo, a little bit more, we think, than half the vote. So that means, that Galindo would need to win the Election Day vote by like 25 points, something like that. She'd need a massive, massive reversal with the Election Day vote. She has no obvious geographic advantage in here. Okay, Bexar County, which is like 3/4 of the vote on the Democratic side in this district. Garcia's leading it by 20. Guadalupe, that's the only other major population center. These are really the only two places where you're going to have big, big chunks of Democratic vote. And Garcia's leads 20 points in both of them. Down here in Wilson County, it is closer. And then Garcia, again, 74 votes here, crushing Galindo. So again, what I said would need to happen for Julie Johnson to turn it around against Colin Allred up in the Dallas area, something even significantly wilder would have to happen down here in the 35th district once you start getting Election Day.
Thank you very much, Gen Extra, for the donation. Donation train for Frank. Thank you very much. Thank you. You are awesome. Thank you, Gen Extra. Yay.
Maybe it's a little bit hopeful, and we just got some vote in Liberty in 9.
Okay.
In Dallas County, Texas, on their website, they say they were supposed to get an Election Day update at 9:15, which is now. So it's possible we get more out of Dallas
so why don't
in the next few minutes here. They did also say it was supposed to come 15 minutes ago, and then they updated it to say it's going to be 9:15. So,
but but that's kind of encouraging.
Yes.
When did the update just came in? When?
Within the last 15 minutes.
This is like a Twitter update or something?
This is on their website. They just have like a little timeline of what they expect over the course of the night.
9:15. 9:15 Eastern.
They have it at 8:15.
Okay,
so
thank you.
Eastern.
Boy, I was going to be standing here for an hour waiting for the. So, folks, why don't we just, Adam? I don't know how many are watching, but we'll give this a couple minutes because you heard Adam, and if it does come in the next few minutes, I think that could be all you need to see here, and we could get this one resolved. You're just trying to figure out how much further to go with this. I think if we have the prospect of getting this House race resolved here, where you again. Significant. This would be an incumbent losing her seat. This would be a former incumbent, a very well-known former incumbent, essentially getting his seat back because.
Oh, look, there's another one. Colin Allred and Julie Johnson. Remember, Colin Allred has been in Congress before, but he apparently he lost his seat. I don't know if he lost his seat or his district got drawn out for this coming election or whatever. But that might be what it is, right?
Maybe more optimistic. When an update comes in
some
here.
updates on Mays Middleton. He's still up 12 points exactly. And it's 51% counted right there.
Has that
Bam.
Shrunk from 9.8?
Oh, Allred was drawn out. That's good to know. Thank you.
If it's shrunk in a meaningful way, then we got a little suspense here. Maybe Johnson's got something going with this Election Day vote. If it's right around 9.8 still,
Steve,
we're obviously going up. Yeah.
We did get a call in Texas 9.
Yep.
Alex Mueller in that race.
Okay, I appreciate that. Having written 9.8 and not wanting to miss this moment, I'm not going to shift over there. Alex Mueller, if you remember, this is deeply, deeply Republican district. Trump had endorsed her. She had the massive spending advantage. We were a little interested because her opponent had been endorsed by Greg Abbott, the Republican governor, but she was leading by nearly 40 points in the initial batch that we had already shown you. She continues to lead. Our decision desk has now called that. And again, that's a very Republican district that we're talking about here, again, part of this redrawing. The good folks of Dallas County have told us an update coming at 9:15 Eastern time. It is 9:17. We've got it. Again, this is not all. The district here, you can see the oddly shaped district is entirely inside of Dallas County. Obviously, it's not all of Dallas County. Sort of downtown Dallas is in this. It stretches out a few different ways. Adam, again, I don't want to shift off the screen. In like the Senate race, in a statewide race, has Dallas reported?
Let's check something out real quick.
From elsewhere in the
Deuce Volt says it doesn't have to be a miracle. If you do the math, Republicans have less seats to defend than Democrats. I think you're talking about the Senate. That is true for the Senate. The Senate, they're 6-year terms. Let's look this up real quick. 2026 Senate seats up for election. I believe the Senate one. No, not that one. Where's the other one? I guess we got to use that one. For the House, by the way, for a House, because the House seats are only 2-year terms. Every seat is up for grabs every 2 years, and typically, whenever a new president comes in, the opposite party gains 25 seats. We have redistricted about 19 to 20. It should be 19 to 20. It's going to be 18 and 19 actually, because we don't have South Carolina. South Carolina map got voted down, by the way. So we got more rhinos we got to vote out there. I got that bad news coming tomorrow. By the way, if you're new here, I do a news show every day at noon Eastern. So yeah, noon Eastern, news show. Anyways, so these are all the seats that are up for grabs. This coming year, this November. Out of all these, and I've looked through all of these. In Montana, we're not likely to lose that. Neither is Idaho, Wyoming. Oregon's going to stay blue. Colorado will stay blue. New Mexico will stay blue. They haven't fixed their election system at all. Texas, that'll be a shocker if Ken Paxton loses. Oklahoma, we won't lose that one. Kansas, no. South Dakota, no. Nebraska, it's a red state, but they're rhinos. Yeah. Minnesota, not likely going to switch. Michigan, they're saying it's a toss-up. Who's the incumbent right now? Oh, damn it. Foxy, I hate this website. I want to see what's up for grabs. No. Ballotpedia. Let's go there. There you go. Yeah, that's a better map. There you go. So, Minnesota's blue. Not likely to flip. Iowa, not likely. Neither is Illinois. Michigan is something that we could possibly flip. There's lots of lawsuits flying right now in Michigan to get them to get rid of the dead voters and lots of stuff. Jocelyn and Benson has already kind of like tried to withhold election data and stuff like that, and she's trying to not avoid fixing it, right? But let's say we pull it off and we take Michigan, which it's a long shot because it is officially blue right now, and they haven't fixed their election system. That's a possible take right there. Maine, that'll probably stay for Susan Collins. What else is there? Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama will probably stay red. Tennessee will stay red. Now, when you're talking about states that are red that we might lose, Ohio's a possibility because we got Vivek Ramaswamy, and quite frankly, lots of people don't care for him, at least on our side of the aisle. West Virginia ain't going anywhere. Virginia is blue and could possibly flip red. Maybe. I have no idea. I'm honestly surprised Spanberger won. But Virginia has always elected the opposite governor of the president for like 100 years. It's been like that forever. North and South Carolina are red, and we could possibly lose those. So remember, we have 3 seats to give, and then we've got JD Vance, a tiebreaker, right? So we could lose Ohio, Kentucky. Kentucky's a blue state as all hell. Their governor's a Democrat. Mitch McConnell is retiring, so I don't know who's running there, but we could lose Ohio because Vivek is no one cares about him. And then Kentucky, there's another one. So that's 2. And then there's North and South Carolina. I thought we were pretty strong in North Carolina, but I believe we've lost quite a bit in North Carolina in terms of the state Congress. So I don't know how that's going to affect sentiment for the federal Congress. And then there's South Carolina, which is Lindsey Graham. He'll probably win, though. He's got AIPAC behind him. Ooh, this is Tom Tillis. In North Carolina. I believe Trump is trying to primary the guy. Unless that was... Oh, no, that was already passed. I think he lost, right? Let's see. North Carolina GOP primary results. Senate. U.S. Senate. Hold on. What happened with this one? Come on. Load. So Roy Cooper got the nomination. Michael Whatley. So did Tom Tillis not run at all? Withdrawn or disqualified candidates. Tom Tillis. I believe he withdrew because of how much shit Trump gave him and all the Trump supporters. So, good stuff. So now we just gotta hope it stays red. If we look at total votes, ooh, that's not good. Look at that. Total votes for GOP 627,000. Total votes for Democrats 827,000. Now, obviously that's going to have a lot to do with the voter turnout, right? I don't know. This is also a blowout. Roy Cooper blew out everyone else. If it was close, then the turnout would be higher, right? Yeah, so both Michael Whatley and Roy Cooper both blew everyone else out. We might actually lose North Carolina. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how North Carolina goes. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Tillis's voters are switching parties to go vote in a Democrat. So now we have 3 seats we might lose, right? Michigan flipping is a miracle, but we also got Georgia. Georgia's a possibility. So we could give Ohio. We could lose Ohio, Kentucky, and North Carolina, and we'll still be even. We'll still be okay with the tiebreaker. But of course, then we got Murkowski and Collins, who are going to be flip-flopping all the time. We could, however, take Georgia from John Ossoff. So that's a possibility right there. So so that's what we're looking at there for the Senate, the U.S. Senate. For the House, we typically lose. We have 3 to give. We typically the opposing party on the midterms wins about 25 seats. So we have 3 to give, but we redistrict 19 to 20. So that's going to be a very, very close one right there. So we're gonna have to really focus in on the swing seats. You know what I mean? Anyways. Oh, he's done. Well, so he's done. Let's see what else is there to look at. So Kernashki's done. Yeah, he the last 20 minutes he's been talking about like the Democrats and stuff. So I didn't care much for it. Middleton is still in the runnings. Look at that. I wanted to look for their concession speech, you know? Let's go look for that. Let's go look for Paxton speech. No, Paxton headquarters. Paxton headquarters. Well, right now we got this gal speaking. Hold on. Oh, that is Paxton's camp. Okay. Okay. We'll do that. We'll hang out here.
Off the tongue, right? I don't think that's allowed. I'm not sure he can do both. So here's the thing.
Oh, the audio's
While we
bad.
celebrate tonight, and please do celebrate tonight because this has been a very long, hard road, I just want to remember, I want you guys to remember, this is step 1, all right? Step 2 comes in November. And if you thought Jasmine Crockett was radical, you ain't seen nothing yet, okay? James Tallarico is a very dangerous radical leftist. James Tallarico believes that God is non-binary. James Tallarico believes that there are numerous genders. I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 65, a million. Do you believe that there are numerous genders? No. Do you think that that is representative of the state of Texas? No.
Well, let me see if we can find something with better audio. That is atrocious. Holy crap. That is the AP too. Let's go see if this other feed is better.
James Tallarico.
Nope, the same. Good lord. Let me go look for let me go look for the concession speech. Cornyn headquarters. Let's see. Where's Cornyn's headquarters? That sucks, man. Do they know how important audio is? You can do without video. You need to get the audio right. That is terrible. Really? Cornyn headquarters. Well, okay, let's just stick with the AP then. Good lord.
Soon to be senator. As long as you guys turn out in November, are you going to turn out? I look forward to calling him Senator Ken Paxton. Thank you, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing the 26th District of Texas in Congress, please welcome Brandon Gill.
Okay, so Mary says Cornyn just conceded. Are you seeing that on Fox, dear? Let me check Fox real quick. Thank you. You can thank Mary Mo. We have access to Fox News because of her, and they probably have better audio somewhere somehow. And it's not loading. Oh, there it goes. Oh no, that's still No, that's Paxton's camp. Okay, never mind.
Stand up for our values, aren't we? fight to keep the border secure, to deport illegal aliens, and yes, to get the Save America Act passed. This is not good enough anymore in Washington to just say the right things. We need somebody who's going to do the right things. And that person is Senator Ken Paxton. It's been a long road to get here. I was proud to have endorsed Paxton weeks ago, whenever he was right in the middle of the fight. But now we're at a point where it's the Reds versus the Blues. It's shirts and skins now. It's time for Republicans to come together, to unite, to make sure that we send a Republican Ken Paxton to the Senate. Because I don't think that the people of Texas want to see James Tallarico anywhere near Washington or anywhere near our children. I don't think the people of Texas believe that God is non-binary, do they? I don't think...
All right, give me a second. Someone said Nick Sotor had the concession. Here's from the Cornyn camp here.
Well, good evening, everybody. After a public service career lasting more than 4 decades and 18 consecutive campaign wins, tonight we've come up short in this primary runoff. You know, a few years ago, I had a friend of mine say, you know what makes God laugh? He said, when we make plans. I've spent most of my time in the Senate building the Republican Party in Texas and in the U.S. Senate, and I've always supported the Republican ticket, and I intend to do so again in this general election. I've said throughout this race that I trust the voters of Texas, and they've made their decision, and I must. Well, good evening, everybody.
Oh, that's it. That's the whole clip, huh? Oh, no, here's the full concession speech. Here we go.
Public service is an honor, but I believe, and I know my family believes, that public service is an honorable calling. Serving others is a high purpose. And while much about politics makes God is ugly, we choose to serve through the good, the bad, and the ugly.
By the way, it's one-sided audio. If you guys are not hearing it, it's probably because you only got one speaker on your phone.
Of course, we could not have run this race without an outstanding campaign team that has served me so well through so many campaigns. Truly the finest I've ever worked with. To Rob, Mayanne, and Andy, and the entire campaign team who worked tirelessly and gave everything they had, and who believed in me, I want to express my gratitude. Of course, I want to thank my U.S. Senate staff, ably led in Washington, D.C. by Drew and in Texas by David. You work hard for 32 million Texans every day that I'm honored to represent, with long hours, high stress, and job uncertainty. I want to express my gratitude to my staff for their incredible professionalism.
Oh, you know, Ken Paxton speaking. Let's switch to that. We're done listening to this loser because he lost. We don't need to listen to him. Ken Paxton is on. Here we go. I'll start from the beginning. I'm gonna mute the music real quick. Here we go. All right. Crooked Face Ken.
I feel speechless in a way, but you know, I want to thank my family, my kids, my grandchildren, the Paxton Patriots, and every single person here today. Without your love, your support, and your prayers, we would not be here tonight celebrating this incredible victory. I'd also like to thank all of the grassroots, local, state, and national leaders who supported this campaign including Congressman Brandon Gill, who just spoke, Lance Gooden, Congressman Nels, Congressman Wesley Hunt, and Congressman Ronnie Jackson. I'd also like to thank Scott Pressler and Turning Point Action for their endorsements. Tonight, we just sent a Texas-sized message to Washington. I said it in March, and I'll say it again now. Today, change was on the ballot, and change won. Let me be clear, this is not just my win, this is your win. We just proved that this Senate seat doesn't belong to Washington. It belongs to you, the hardworking men and women of this state. We went up against $150 million in all the attacks in the world, and you know what happened? The voters declared loud and clear a simple truth that we know in our hearts and in our souls: Texas is not for sale. Now I want to take a minute to say something about Senator Cornyn. I want to thank Senator Cornyn for his service to this state. John has dedicated much of his life to serving Texas. He's worked diligently for years to help Texas, and for that spirit of service to the Lone Star State and our nation, I'm very grateful. Thank you, John. So no matter who you supported in this race, whether it was me, Senator Cornyn, or you voted for someone different in March, I want to thank every single Texan, and I want to let them know that I want to earn your support. Tonight is not the end of a campaign. Tonight is the beginning of the fight to preserve every value we hold dear. The future of Texas and the future of America is on the line, and I intend to do everything I can to expand our movement. I've won 3 statewide elections because I know how critical it is for our party to come together, and that's what we must do now. No matter what you call him, let me tell you this: James Tallarico is a threat to everything we hold dear in this state and in this country. He's a threat to our security and our safety. He wants open borders and even said a welcome mat should be at our southern border. He's a threat to our children. He wants boys and girls sports, gender mutilation surgery performed on kids. And when asked what he loved outside of his family and friends, you heard what Brandon Gill said. His first answer was trans kids. That's weird, and that's a radical guy. He's a threat to our prosperity and Texas economy. He said you can't be a Christian if you support the oil and gas industries. He wants to raise your taxes, and he won't do a single thing to lower costs for you and your family. And finally, he's a threat to our very way of life and our values. I mean, he's a vegan who thinks God is non-binary and that there's actually 6 biological sexes. It's hard to imagine someone more radical than that. If Republicans lose this state, we lose the country. Amen. But I truly believe that together, not only will we win this race, but we can ensure that America's best days are ahead of us. Yes. You see, I'm not just running against the Democrats. I'm running to deliver for you, just as I have as Attorney General. I'm running to lower your cost of living because you deserve to be able to buy a home, afford groceries, and have a high quality of health care without being forced to stay up at night worrying about how you're going to pay your monthly premium or pay off your debt. In the Senate, I'll support President Trump's America First agenda and finally secure our nation's elections by passing the Save America Act. I've taken on big food and big pharma as Attorney General, and I'm going to continue doing that in the Senate because making America healthy again is critical for our nation's future. As Attorney General, I've sued some of the largest companies in the world like Netflix, Snapchat, and Roblox for taking advantage of our kids by exposing them to dangerous, addictive material. In Washington, I will not stop fighting to protect Texas children from big tech hurting our kids. We live in dangerous times, and that's exactly why I'll support our military and be ready to confront the threat from Communist China, which is our #1 geopolitical enemy. Just a few weeks ago, I helped establish the first ever detransition clinic in the country at Texas Children's Hospital. This will help kids reverse the damage caused by radical doctors who tried to transition them. And in the Senate, I will never back down from taking on the woke mob. I've also seen firsthand how bad judges can destroy our freedom and force a liberal agenda on Texas. Yeah. That's why I will be dedicated to confirming judges who will uphold and defend the Constitution.
All right. I think that is all. Yeah. I hope you guys have a great night. Good victory. We still got Middleton to watch, actually. Where are we at? Middleton's up by 11.6 points. We are 57% counted. That race has not yet been called. Let's see. So he's done here. Let's see what else is there to look at. I suppose we can watch the rest of Cornyn's speech and laugh. Here we go.
The incumbent Attorney General.
Wait, what the hell? Oh, I gotta pause that one. There we go.
2 million people of Texas that I'm honored to represent. To everyone who's worked with me, alongside of me for all these many years, I just want to say thank you. And then to my supporters in this campaign, more than 1,000 current and former elected official endorsements, more than 30 statewide organizations, to every financial supporter, every volunteer, everyone who voted for me in this election, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Tonight I'm reminded of something Teddy Roosevelt said in 1910. He said, "It's not the critic that counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles."
All right, real quick. Leanne says, I hope Middleton wins. Chip is all talk. I you know, it's funny. I'd never heard of Middleton before a couple of days ago. And I was more of a Chip guy, but then I found out that this is not for Chip's seat. This is for the AG of Texas. So I think Mays Middleton would actually be a better fit for that. So I'm with you on that one. And actually, Becky corrected me on that one. Yeah, Chip Roy is apparently not very friendly with oil, the oil industry. So, oh, what is this ad? Oh, shit, I'm not showing the wrong screen. Here we go. Yeah, this is the Middleton race so far. 11.6%, 57% counted. He is pretty much going to win. So, good stuff. Chip Roy's just going to have a 2-year vacation and figure out what he's going to do in 2028. He's not awful. He's not awful, but, Mays Middleton, I think, will be better for this seat. Chip probably should have stayed as a representative. Anyways, let's get back to the loser speech.
Where the doer of deeds could have done better.
If you can't hear anything, it's because whoever streamed this did one-sided audio and didn't fix it. So it's only coming out of, I think, the right channel.
Credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and blood and sweat, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be among those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. A number of years ago, up in West Texas, that's not the region, that's the city, where there was a terrible catastrophe, the county commissioner up there said something that stuck with me all these years. He said, being a Texan doesn't describe where you're from. It describes who your family is. And for the past 2.5 decades, I have represented this family in the United States Senate. During that time, I helped write and pass a number of historic tax reform bills, focus on building our military for tomorrow, helping put hundreds of conservative judges on the federal bench, work to take Washington's boot off the necks of Texas job creators, and helped tackle some of our nation's most challenging problems. In this runoff election, approximately 8% of registered voters made their voices heard. And of that 8% who voted, roughly 60% said they were ready for a different direction. Another reminder that those who show up decide for those who do not. There's a simple rule in elections, you've heard me say it before, and that is the candidate who gets the most votes wins. The party in the majority gets to govern, and my hope is to keep my party in power for generations. I am an optimist by nature, which is just another way of saying I am a Texan. Yesterday when I was in San Antonio, where I stood alongside of 109 students who had been admitted to service academies for this upcoming year, this was the 20th time that we've had this academy send-off, and it remains my favorite event of the year, because these young men and women, the leaders of our military and our communities and our nation tomorrow, give me great hope and optimism for our future. Well, a scripture verse comes to mind as well, where the Apostle Paul said, I've fought the good fight, I've finished the race, and I've kept the faith. Over the next 7 months, my service in the United States Senate, I intend to continue my work to help make this nation a better place for all Texans and all Americans. Thank you very much, and may God bless Texas, and may he continue to bless the United States of America.
Senator Corning.
I'll have more to say later.
Oh, he's not taking questions, huh? All right, if you guys are just popping in, I'm going to go ahead and rewind. You guys can hear Ken Paxton's victory speech again. Yeah, or if you're just popping in, here's Ken Paxton's victory speech here. It's very nice.
Got it. No. That's not. Those are not.
Come on. There it is. All right. Victory speech.
I feel speechless in a way, but I want to thank my family, my kids, my grandchildren, the Paxton Patriots, and every single person here today. Without your love, your support, and your prayers, we would not be here tonight celebrating this incredible victory. I'd also like to thank all of the grassroots, local, state, and national leaders who supported this campaign, including Congressman Brandon Gill, who just spoke, Lance Gooden, Congressman Nels, Congressman Wesley Hunt, and Congressman Ronnie Jackson.
Quick pause. So Zombie said hopefully his replacement won't suck. His replacement is going to be this race right here. Mays Middleton versus Chip Roy. If you look at the poll that I put up, I had never heard of Middleton, like ever, until like yesterday, right? So I never talked about him. And so my audience is very much Chip Roy people. We all like him. He's not an awful dude. But according to Becky, who is a Texas native oil gal, Becky right there, Patriot RV Life, she says that Middleton's the better idea. She says that Chip Roy is not very big oil friendly and votes against a lot of the, some of the MAGA stuff he votes against. He's a pretty okay dude, but he's down right now by 11.6 points. And is 59% counted, so it's very likely Mays Middleton is going to win. He's okay though. Mays Middleton, by the way, was endorsed by Donald Trump in 2022 for a state seat. Okay, I believe it was state senate or state house. I think it was state senate actually, and he did. I believe he did win, and so this one for this particular race, Trump didn't endorse either of them, and I think because he didn't want to get involved when they're both good dudes. So, but according to Becky, Mays Middleton's okay. So, anyways, here, let me rewind Ken Paxton's speech. Let's start from the beginning. Here we go.
Parts.
Oh my God. And hold on. I just screwed that up so bad.
Yes.
No, it's not what I wanted. Damn it. I pressed a number and it went to like the way wrong place. There it goes. There it is. Okay, I found it. I found it.
The greats.
There we go.
I feel speechless in a way, but you know, they're not going to let me do that. Wow. To the people in this room, to the people watching at home, and to the people of the great state of Texas.
My thing is jammed. Damn it. There we go. Anyways, Texas Honey says that Middleton currently holds a Texas House seat. Okay, cool. Good to know. Thank you.
I feel speechless in a way, but you know, they're not going to let me. Tonight, we just sent a Texas-sized message to Washington. I said it in March, and I'll say it again now. Today, change was on the ballot, and change won. Let me be clear, this is not just my win, this is your win. We just proved that this Senate seat doesn't belong to Washington. It belongs to you, the hardworking men and women of this state. We went up against $150 million in all the attacks in the world, and you know what happened? The voters declared loud and clear a simple truth that we know in our hearts and in our souls: Texas is not for sale. Now I want to take a minute to say something about Senator Cornyn. I want to thank Senator Cornyn for his service to this state. John has dedicated much of his life to serving Texas. He's worked diligently for years to help Texas, and for that spirit of service to the Lone Star State and our nation, I'm very grateful. Thank you, John. So no matter who you supported in this race, whether it was me, Senator Cornyn, or you voted for someone different in March, I want to thank every single Texan, and I want to let them know that I want to earn your support. Tonight is not the end of a campaign. Tonight is the beginning of the fight to preserve every value we hold dear. The future of Texas and the future of America is on the line, and I intend to do everything I can to expand our movement. I've won 3 statewide elections because I know how critical it is for our party to come together, and that's what we must do now. What you call him, let me tell you this: James Tallarico is a threat to everything we hold dear in this state and in this country. He's a threat to our security and our safety. He wants open borders and even said a welcome mat should be at our southern border. He's a threat to our children. He wants boys and girls sports, gender mutilation surgery performed on kids. And when asked what he loved outside of his family and friends, you heard what Brandon Gill said. His first answer was trans kids. That's weird, and that's a radical guy. He's a threat to our prosperity and Texas economy. He said you can't be a Christian if you support the oil and gas industries. He wants to raise your taxes, and he won't do a single thing to lower costs for you and your family. And finally, he's a threat to our very way of life and our values. I mean, he's a vegan who thinks God is non-binary and that there's actually 6 biological sexes. It's hard to imagine someone more radical than that.
Officially being called for Mays Middleton. Look at that. Good stuff. Congratulations, Becky. Your man won. Look at that. Good stuff. Whoops. Yeah, Mays Middleton is currently up 11.4 points, 62% counted. It's been called by CNN. And we know CNN generally favors establishment people like Chip Roy. Not calling him a rhino, but he's establishment. He's been there forever. Anyways, congratulations, Mays Middleton. Congratulations to the oil industry. You got a good AG to look forward to working for. Anyways, here's the rest of Ken Paxton's speech.
Every Democrat, and I would say every Republican, knows that if we lose this state, if Republicans lose this state, we lose the country. Amen. But I truly believe that together, not only will we win this race, but we can ensure that America's best days are ahead of us. Yes. You see, I'm not just running against the Democrats. I'm running to deliver for you, just as I have as Attorney General. I'm running to lower your cost of living because you deserve to be able to buy a home, afford groceries, and have a high quality of health care without being forced to stay up at night worrying about how you're going to pay your monthly premium or pay off your debt. In the Senate, I'll support President Trump's America First agenda and finally secure our nation's elections by passing the Save America Act. I've taken on big food and big pharma as Attorney General, and I'm going to continue doing that in the Senate because making America healthy again is critical for our nation's future. As Attorney General, I've sued some of the largest companies in the world like Netflix, Snapchat, and Roblox for taking advantage of our kids by exposing them to dangerous, addictive material. In Washington, I will not stop fighting to protect Texas children from big tech hurting our kids. We live in dangerous times, and that's exactly why I'll support our military and be ready to confront the threat from Communist China, which is our #1 geopolitical enemy. Just a few weeks ago, I helped establish the first ever detransition clinic in the country at Texas Children's Hospital. This will help kids reverse the damage caused by radical doctors who tried to transition them. And in the Senate, I will never back down from taking on the woke mob. I've also seen firsthand how bad judges can destroy our freedom and force a liberal agenda on Texas. That's why I will be dedicated to confirming judges who will uphold and defend the Constitution. So now it's time.
All right, guys. So that concludes our watch out hangout party. We are going to continue the hangout over on a place called Foxhole. It's a very quaint platform. There they are, right there. Wonderful people of Foxhole. Ooh, I just got a donation from someone. Ooh, Sean Joe. Thank you very much, Sean Joe. Hey, Freya's over there. Good to see you, dear. We're gonna do a movie. We're probably gonna do a comedy. We'll talk about it when we get there. I'm thinking Talladega Nights, but I'm not sure. We'll talk about it when we get there, okay? Let me give you all the link on how to get there. Let's see. NPC movie night. There we go. There's your link there. Here's your link over on Rumble. I'm gonna give you a link over on Getter. There's your link on Getter. Yeah. Pill.net, by the way, is a place that it's a quaint enough of a platform where, you know, I get to stream movies and it's not a problem. So we'll see you guys over there. Have a good day. Goodbye. And if you're watching the replay on Rumble, I will post it in the comments since the chat doesn't stick around after we shut down. So goodbye Rumble, goodbye YouTube. Have a great night. There's another great victory, another big victory for MAGA. Hello, by the way, Maggio, happy birthday. It's Maggio's birthday, guys. That's today. A last hoopla goodbye birthday for Maggio's birthday today. Thank you very much for spending your birthday with us, and I hope you'll join us. I hope you'll join us for the movie. It's a good night. You can pick whatever movie you like as long as I have it. If not, then I have to look for it and pirate it. Anyways, everyone, just have a good night. Goodbye, everyone except Foxhole. See you guys. Congratulations on the big MAGA victory. Another MAGA victory today. Cornyn is out. Paxton is in. Middleton is in. Yeah. Al Green's out. Anyways, goodbye, everyone. See ya.